Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this 3rd of July.
3rd of July.
Look, a lot of people are taking the week off.
You and I are here. Half the building up front is completely quiet and shut down.
That's what happens when you get a Wednesday holiday.
Exactly. We're holding down the fort.
Ever been to Schubert's in Mount Horeb?
No, but now I want to go.
It is a great little restaurant, and our tastemaker, Andrea Baling, goes there today to check things out. 170 years it's been in Mount Horeb.
That's pretty cool. That's coming up a little later this half hour.
But first, here's what's making news today. Two girls discovered that their Fitchburg house is on fire. Amy Reed describes what happened next.
Keely Arthur has a warning from Madison police about thieves that are making off with loaded guns from parked cars.
And we hear a first-hand account from the A-team divers who discovered the Thai soccer team in an underground cave.
Yeah, that story continues to evolve.
It's amazing.
It's fascinating. Let's take a look outside today. Boy, it's a hot one today.
Yeah, it was. I was out shooting most of the day, so a little damp here, but
well, that's a beautiful shot.
Spider waiting for lunch.
Very cool. Look
a little
at that.
dew on there. Yeah, that's amazing.
That's something.
It is. Let's take a look at the weather words. Hot as a firecracker. And Chris Reese is out in the backyard burying the heat for us this afternoon. Hi, Chris.
Hello. If you are hot and you know it, clap your hands. It is very hot outside right now. The sun beating down, and the funny thing is it's really not all that humid. There's way more humidity to come, especially as we get you into the day tomorrow, but it feels like 89 degrees right now. You work your way just to the south in Illinois. I mean, it feels like 102 in spots. Des Moines feeling like 103 degrees right now. Get this, heat advisories are back into the picture, especially south of us and west of us, ahead of the heat that we are expecting for our 4th of July holiday. And as you work your way up towards the Twin Cities, there are excessive heat watches that are in play. Now, right now, it only feels like 89 for us, but it feels like the low 90s in Janesville, feels like 90s as you work your way back to the west. And this is cool compared to what we could feel like by the time we get you towards tomorrow. It is a hazy look out there. We do have some cloud cover out there as well. I call them decorator clouds. It's from the heat and the humidity that we have. Temperatures warming up to 86. The dew points are creeping up towards that 70-degree mark. So right now the dew point is 67. By tomorrow we could see dew points that are in the 70s. Actual air temperatures, Janesville has now reached 90 degrees. I've been watching for someone to hit 90 today. We're at 86 for us here in Madison, but the same for Mineral Point and back towards the west as well. No rainfall to worry about for us, so that is the good news. However, tomorrow that could change. We are watching the possibility of some showers and thunderstorms, especially to our north and west. So if you're going to be traveling north and west tomorrow, keep that in mind. There's a marginal risk just north of the Dells for severe weather, a slight risk as you get further towards the Northwoods and up towards Minnesota. Speaking of tomorrow, not only is it the storms, but it is the heat, as we can feel out here. So we do have another alert day for that heat and humidity, as heat indices could feel like triple digits, if not greater at times. In terms of your first alert traffic, here's a live look at the Beltline and Rimrock right now. The traffic is starting to increase. You'll see more and more brake lights showing up. Of course, the Beltline has lots of slowdowns right now. Right now, it is also taking you about 45 minutes from University to the interstate. So if you are packing your bags and getting ready to hit the road for this 4th of July holiday, make sure that you are packing your patience as well. In addition to the heat, you're going to have traffic and the heat to deal with as you're outside.
AAA is calling this Terrible Tuesday.
That's right.
We'll have more on that coming up, but yeah, a lot of people heading out of town. Not us, though. We'll see in a little bit, Chris.
Someone's got to hold down the
That's
fort.
right. We'll see you in a minute.
Thank you, Chris. First at 4, a family is without a home tonight after a fire broke out in their attic in Fitchburg.
Amy Reed was on the scene as firefighters handled the situation. She joins us now with more. Amy?
Yeah, Mark and Susan, definitely a scary situation, particularly for the 2 girls in the family who were home alone when they found the fire. You can see here what's left of the roof of this home on Treeline Drive. A lot of damage. Firefighters are thinking it's about $200,000 worth right now, but that's preliminary. The chief said the girls saw smoke, and when they realized they couldn't control it, they did the exact right thing and got out before calling 911.
At some point when you realize that the fire has grown past your ability to fight it with an extinguisher, then you really have one option, and that's to get out.
Thanks to their smart thinking and the firefighters' efforts, the whole family, pets included, is safe. Firefighters don't know exactly what caused the fire right now. They're still working on their investigation. We'll, of course, let you know when we know more. Until they can move back into the home, the fire department tells us the parents, kids, and animals will be staying with family.
Doing the right thing. That's important. Amy, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. The Trump administration is rescinding Obama-era guidelines that encourage schools to take a person's race into account to encourage diversity in admissions. The shift would give schools and universities the federal government's blessing to take a race-neutral approach to the students they consider for admission.
We are learning more about who is on President Trump's short list to be his next Supreme Court nominee. This morning, he spoke with Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah. He's the only lawmaker on the list. Yesterday, he interviewed 4 candidates. They are federal appeals court judges Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, Amul Thapar, and Raymond Kethledge. Is that right, Kethledge? At Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing in 2006, he said he considered Roe v. Wade as settled law, and Barrett defended her Catholic faith in her confirmation hearing.
I would follow Roe v. Wade faithfully and fully.
My religious belief would not bear on the discharge of my duties.
Outside the White House today, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders reiterated that the president is not going to make his decision based on a specific case like Roe v. Wade. President Trump says he'll announce his decision on Monday. Well, lock your doors. That's the message from Madison police this afternoon.
This after at least 2 handguns were stolen from unlocked vehicles in the past few days on Madison's west side. Our Keely Arthur is live and shares that's just a drop in the bucket. Keely?
That's right. At least 100 guns are in the hands of the wrong people. Why? Because some gun owners are not using their heads or their keys and locking their car doors. Now, over this past weekend, at least 2 guns with ammunition were stolen from 2 different blocks on Madison's west side, one near Old Sauk Road. We spoke with the captain of the West District. He says there are now 2 more guns in the hands of criminals.
Crimes being committed, robberies being committed, in fact, shootings are being committed with these guns that are being left unattended in cars and vehicles. So, you know, some people might not think it's that big a deal, but to us, it's a huge deal.
Now, in both cases, the cars were parked near the owner's home or in the driveway, showing that your car is not safe unlocked anywhere, even right by your home. And while it's not illegal to leave your gun in your car, police say it is incredibly stupid. If you too get your gun stolen out of your car, you need to, though, report it so that way the police can track those serial numbers and make sure it is recovered. Back to you.
Lock your car, take your guns inside. I guess, yeah, pretty common sense. Keely, thank you.
Thank you,
Hello?
Keely. Yeah, thank you, Keely. Thai Navy SEALs say 13 people trapped in a flooded cave in northern Thailand are healthy and they're being looked after by medics. 2 British divers were the first rescuers to reach the 12 boys and their soccer coach. Tina Krause has more on the men being dubbed the A-Team.
13. Brilliant.
A British voice that boomed through the flooded cave when divers reached the stranded soccer team in Thailand was the first contact the kids and their coach had had in more than a week.
You have been here 10 days. 10 days. You are very strong.
It was volunteer diver John Valanthan, an IT consultant who has been cave diving since he was a teenager. Like much of the world, his family back in Britain had been closely following the rescue.
It's a feeling of pride, but to John, it's just an everyday job. If you're a mother, you know what it's like to worry about your children, no matter how old you are. Once a mum, always a mum.
John Valanthan and fellow British diver Rick Stanton, a retired firefighter, were the first to make contact with the lost boys. Authorities in Thailand called on them for their expertise of low-visibility cave dives and specialist knowledge of breathing equipment. They have a reputation for being 2 of the best cave rescuers in the world.
They're very organized, extremely disciplined, and consummate professionals. So I feel confident from this point on that things are going to work.
The British divers are part of an international team who've been in Thailand for several days. They're now helping to plan the final escape in an intensely complicated rescue effort. Tina Krause, CBS News.
Thai authorities say the military will make the final decision on how the group is rescued, and one option is coaching the boys to swim through the passages using scuba equipment.
Well, the Green Bay Packers will be without one of their starting running backs when the season begins. Aaron Jones has been suspended without pay for the first 2 games of the 2018 regular season for violating the NFL substance abuse program. Jones will be eligible to return to the active roster on Monday, September 17th. That is the day after the Packers play the Minnesota Vikings.
For the 4th straight day, tens of millions of Americans are battling oppressive heat and humidity. Utility crews powered through sweltering heat in New York City as temperatures soared into the 90s. Workers were also baking in Baltimore, where it felt like 110 degrees. Parents like Justina Chabra are doing what they can to keep their kids cool.
It's really hot and it's difficult with children. They don't want to even step out. She didn't want to be outside.
Miami experienced 72 more days over 90 degrees in 2015 compared to 1970, and Austin, Texas had 38 more over 100 comparing the same time period. The National Weather Service has issued heat watches, warnings, and advisories for 50 million people.
Well, it wouldn't be the 4th of July without Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. This year's contenders were at the Empire State Building for their official weigh-in this afternoon. Defending champion Joey Chestnut weighed in at 216.5 pounds as he defends his title. Chestnut is looking for his 11th title and 3rd straight. Some 25,000 fans expected Wednesday at the Nathan's Famous Stand in Coney Island. The women's competition starts at 10 a.m., followed by the men's contest at noon. I can't even watch this.
I can't watch it either, especially the women's competition.
Ladies.
It's impressive.
All right, well, still to come at 4. Are you hitting the road this holiday?
Boy, you're not alone. Be prepared to pay a pretty price as well at the pump.
About 40 million people are hitting the road for the July 4th holiday, and gas prices are higher than last year. I'm Chris Martinez with a new report that shows prices at the pump could be going up again.
Well, as we mentioned at the top of this broadcast, AAA calls this Terrible Tuesday.
A record number of us are headed out of town for the 4th of July holiday, and those traveling by car will be paying more at the pump than in previous years. Chris Martinez reports.
Some 40 million Americans are hitting the road for the 4th of July holiday. Matt Shakin is one of them. He traveled from San Francisco to Los Angeles to be with family, knowing he'd be spending more at the pump.
It's what you have to do at this time of year. You know, if you want to see the family and have to spend a couple extra bucks.
Gas prices are up 62 cents compared to this time last year. It's the most expensive July 4th holiday price in 4 years. Jeanette Castellano from AAA says crude oil prices are the main reason why.
When we see crude prices go up, we generally see gas prices go up too. Even with OPEC's potential decision to increase their production, it may not be enough to offset the supply levels not keeping pace with demand.
Prices dropped recently, but they're expected to go up 10 cents or even more in the coming months.
There's a large potential that gas prices may hit a new high later this fall.
There are apps like Gas Buddy, Gas Guru, Google Maps, and Waze that can help drivers find cheaper gas, and prices vary greatly depending on where you live. People in the South are paying around $2.50 a gallon, while drivers in California are paying much more.
Between like $3.90 and $4.50, depending on the area where you're in.
And prices are only expected to go higher. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Now, AAA says the worst time to drive in most major cities is today. Right now, this is the window between 3 and 6 o'clock.
Right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It'll be 2 times more congested than on a typical workday. On Wall Street, a sell-off of tech shares led to losses in a shortened holiday schedule. The Dow Industrials fell 132 points, ending the day at 24,174. The Nasdaq Composite Index lost 65. The S&P 500 was off 13. Trading resumes on Thursday. An American hunter is pushing back against her critics after photos of her next to a giraffe she killed in South Africa triggered global outrage.
Tess Thompson-Talley says she killed the old bull giraffe to prevent it from attacking younger giraffes. But some conservationists are not buying that explanation. David Begnaud has more.
Conservationists fear that one of the greatest beasts of the African savanna could soon face extinction. Fewer than 100,000 giraffes remain on the entire planet. So when these pictures surfaced of Tess Thompson-Talley posing with a giraffe she'd just killed, conservationists were sickened.
It's shocking that anyone would take joy or pleasure in killing a beautiful and graceful animal like a giraffe.
It was an obscure news website called Africland that posted the pictures on Twitter, describing Talley as a white American savage who is partly a Neanderthal. Actress Deborah Messing said she was a vile, heartless, selfish murderer.
People will say stuff, behind a computer screen they'd never say to your face.
Paul Babaz is president of the hunting advocacy group Safari Club International. Tess Thompson-Talley is also a member.
She was hunting in South Africa, and giraffes are legal to hunt in South Africa.
In a statement, Talley said the giraffe she killed last year was over 18 years old and beyond breeding age, yet had killed 3 younger bulls. Now that the giraffe is gone, the younger bulls are able to breed, she said. According to Babaz, the trophy fee for a giraffe is about $2,000 to $3,000 per animal. He says because money from legal hunting helps support the local community, it provides an incentive to make sure big game animals don't become extinct.
Without that, the poachers will come in and kill the animals indiscriminately, which is very unfortunate.
Talley's prey was a South African giraffe that had a black coat due to its age. It's a subspecies that's population is up actually 167% since 1979 to more than 21,000. But the giraffe population overall has declined as much as 40%. Iris Ho with Humane Society International insists that wildlife tourism is far more beneficial for the animals and local communities than trophy hunting.
U.S. imports, almost 4,000 giraffe trophies for the last 10 years. Probably every day there's a giraffe being killed and imported into the U.S. as hunting trophy.
David Begnaud, CBS News, New York.
And according to the hunting advocate Babaz, Tess Thompson-Talley gave most of the giraffe meat away to feed more than 200 local villagers, including children at an orphanage. But so far, Babaz has not provided any support for that claim.
It's surprising to me that hunting giraffes is legal.
Yeah, a lot of big game in Africa, it's legal to hunt. Whether or not that's correct is another question.
Yeah, arguments on both sides.
Yeah.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, a patriotic note.
The story behind this rendition of a perfect song for the 4th.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Well, take a look at this. Sparklers are a big part of the 4th of July, but you likely won't see them used like this today. Ashley and Almar just got married, and their guests all lined up outside with massive sparklers for their big send-off. After running through the crowd, Almar stops in disbelief because Ashley has surprised him on their big day with a classic car send-off in a 1942 Cadillac limo.
Sweet.
That is a nice ride.
I love the sparkler send-off, too.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, very good idea. Today is Tuesday, July 3rd. It is American Redneck Day. It is officially referred to farmers with red sunburned necks.
It means different things now.
Yes.
That's right. It's also stay out of the sun day, find some way to get some shade and beat this heat. You know, I'll encourage you not to move north. I tried that. The heat followed. So
he comes from Texas and brings this all up with him.
You know, Texas has been cooler than we've been lately. I'm not really thrilled about that.
That puts it in perspective.
Mars has been cooler than It's also compliment your mirror day. Now here, you're supposed to put a mirror in front of your, stand in front of a mirror.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
And close your eyes.
Okay.
Put on a big smile. Then open your eyes. That's the person you want to be. I don't know. This is...
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to something else. We promised one of our favorite former producers here at News 3 that we give his dad and one of our most loyal viewers a shout-out today. Dr. Ralph Freilich is retiring after many years from his psychiatric practice in Fitchburg. Dr. Freilich, 81, is still working. There he is.
There's Michael and his dad.
And Michael is our former... I'm sorry, Dr. Freilich, a former Air Force pilot, and father and Michael Freilich produced hundreds of live at 5 newscasts here before getting a job in Miami. So there's Dad in the Air Force. Michael, we miss you. Happy retirement, Ralph. Thanks for continuing to watch.
Congratulations, Ralph. And yes, Michael, you're overdue for a visit. We miss him very much.
Yeah, we do. I saw him a couple of years ago.
Yeah, when you were down in Florida.
Yeah. So he
Where
said
it's
he's going to be
probably
watching.
cooler than it is here.
He's in Miami. I bet it's cooler in
It's
Miami.
way more humid, I'll tell you that much.
for
But
sure.
we are going to be increasing in our humidity as well. I've got your full detailed forecast when we come back. Here's something I bet you have yet to hear ever. It's hot outside. How about that one? Just kidding. Stop me if that's a broken record, but we are continuing to deal with that heat and humidity right here in southern Wisconsin. Temperatures for highs today. So far, we've made it up to 86 here in Madison, 88 as you work your way over towards La Crosse. Janesville did manage to reach 90 degrees, and get this, these are really temperatures as well right now. So we'll continue to see how these temperatures evolve over time. We started out where we should be this morning at 61. sun topped out 4 degrees above average. We are not near the record of 96. So in the world of good news, that's something to take away. Dew points, though, have come up. We now have a dew point of 67, and the closer we get to 70, the more and more oppressive it gets in terms of how it feels. Now, a couple hours ago, we had a dew point of 57, so we've already come up 10 degrees in terms of how humid it feels outside. Dew points are in the 70s just to the west. We've got a dew point of 72 in Mineral Point, 70 for our friends over in Platteville. But there's more where that came from. Across the entire Midwest, dew points are approaching that 80-degree mark, and tomorrow we'll get in under a southerly wind, and that's really going to usher in those higher dew points as this region of low pressure works its way to the north. Our winds begin to turn more southerly. That means more heat comes into the picture. That means more humidity comes into the picture, and that means those heat indices are going right back up as well. Eventually, this cold front does work its way further to the east, and that will mean the chances for some showers and thunderstorms do begin to increase. Tomorrow morning, we'll start out temperatures in the low 70s. By lunchtime, it's the mid-80s. Peak heating of the afternoon. Lots of folks are going to be out near lakes or just cooling off somehow with water. We'll see those air temperatures right around 90 degrees. Here's how it's going to feel with the humidity. Feeling like 93 now. We'll cool down, start out in the 70s, just as we should. By lunchtime, or by 9:30 rather, feeling like 85, 93 by lunchtime. And then it could feel over 100 degrees when it comes into play with the humidity for tomorrow. So you named it. There is another alert day for your 4th of July holiday, especially for the heat and the humidity, along with the chance of some showers and thunderstorms that come into the picture later on tomorrow night. Now, as far as heat bulletins, we do not have heat advisories for us here in Madison just yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see that expanded to the east. Back to the west, there are heat advisories. The Twin Cities do have excessive heat watches right now. I also did mention those storms. We have not dealt with any kind of thunderstorm activity for us here today, so that is good news. There were some storms back to the west of the Twin Cities, but into tomorrow, we could see more scattered shower and thunderstorm activity, especially north and west of Madison. That is where there is a slight or a marginal risk, rather, of strong to severe thunderstorms, a slight risk as you continue to push your way further to the north and west. So keep that in mind if you are going to be traveling. The good news is when it comes to the 4th of July fireworks, because I know a lot of people want to know, is the thunderstorm chance going to interfere with the fireworks? We should turn off any thunderstorm chances by the time we get you towards sunset. So it'll smell like freedom by the time we get the fireworks rocking and rolling tomorrow night. So that is certainly the good news there. We cool down by the weekend. Temperatures come back to about average, and then we heat things right back up. So tonight, 71 degrees, very mild and muggy. I can't rule out the possibility of some fog overnight. Tomorrow, hot, humid, temperatures right around 90 degrees. We'll see some showers and thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon and evening before cooling things off by the time we get you towards the weekend. Of course, I can't rule out those scattered shower and thunderstorm chances early on Thursday. But then it happens all over again. So by the time we get you towards Wednesday, Thursday next week, temperatures near 90. It'll be humid with those chances of showers and thunderstorms.
Above 80 every day.
Above 80 every day. I do not see a major cool down yet.
Well, it's July.
That's July, and you might as well enjoy it because it will come probably sooner than we want.
I was told it snows in July, but that hasn't happened yet, so that's good news.
Not here. Not yet. Well, who knows? This year anything can happen.
This is true.
Chris, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Comedian James Corden, of course, came up with carpool karaoke.
Now, Boston police are jumping on the bandwagon with what they call cruiser karaoke. Doug Meehan introduces us to a duet that doesn't need a recording studio to create perfect harmony.
God bless America.
Officer Kim Tavares and Officer Stephen McNulty have been working side by side for nearly 12 years. Separately, they each have amazing voices, but never sang together. That was until the urging of BPD brass.
Yeah, we're kind of sitting around a lot, so our boss said, you guys should sing something.
So with the help of their media department, they set up cruiser karaoke, the cameras rolled, and something magical happened.
I like it. I like it. That's crazy.
Officer Tavares caught off guard by how good the two sounded together.
I was like, this is crazy. That's what I did in the video because it was crazy.
Delta 103. We were working. We were scanning. If something had stepped off, we were gonna on-site it. We were gonna own it. People didn't know we were singing driving around. It's hysterical.
Tavares has been singing at public events her whole life. Her partner in blue, once in an a cappella group that opened for the Temptations and Justin Timberlake.
There's so much talent out there in the world, but sometimes the talent's sitting right next to you in your cruiser.
Through the night with the light from above.
During the day, if it takes 2 or 3 minutes to sing a song, it gets us through our day, and it makes a big difference.
These officers say they're humbled by the positive reaction the video has received, and in a way, they attribute it to the power of music and the ability to share a gift.
Music is universal. It's love.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
Officer Jabara
love
says
that.
she'd love to work with singer Babyface, and McNulty says that he'd be happy to be their backup.
Wow, they are so
Yeah, they
good.
really are.
Their voices are incredible.
Everybody sings in the car, but not like that.
What a great idea.
Well, still to come at 4, it's called the most important meal of the day.
We're talking about breakfast, of course. For many, it's a grab-and-go thing in the morning. Consumer Reports tells us what are the healthiest and best-tasting quick breakfast meals when Live at 4 continues.
Check out
It's a live shot from the Memorial Union Terrace. They lifted the ban at the terrace today, so people can go out in the water there and
that's good
rent
news.
boats.
Very good news.
Yeah, you're going to need it from this weather. Well, during the week, do you enjoy a healthy breakfast at home, or are you more likely to grab food from your favorite coffee place or fast food drive-thru on your way to work?
Consumer Reports food experts secretly tasted 48 breakfast items, and they collected the nutrition data looking for healthier and tastier options. Leah Lynchide has what they found.
People have lots of reasons to grab breakfast on the run.
It's a lot faster and easier than me cooking at home.
But are they trading healthfulness for convenience? Consumer Reports checked out the offerings at 6 popular chains, tasting 48 items that stood out on the menu as better choices. That includes sandwiches, oatmeal, smoothies, and other morning favorites.
It's kind of nondescript. It's not flavorful.
And they analyzed the nutritional information.
Well, it can be tough to find breakfast items with lower amounts of calories, fat, sugars, and sodium.
Quick breakfast sandwiches can span the nutrition spectrum. Starbucks chicken, sausage, and bacon biscuit has over 1,100 milligrams of sodium. A better sandwich choice would be Panera Bread's avocado, egg white, and spinach on sprouted grain bagel flat, with nearly half the sodium. Tasters found it fresh tasting and flavorful. More and more chains now have oatmeal as an option. These whole grain breakfasts can be a great source of antioxidants and dietary fiber. But watch out for added sugars. The best ones are unsweetened oatmeals with toppings like fresh fruit, nuts, and raisins. Consumer Reports says if you have to grab and go, there are good choices available, and you can upgrade almost anything you pick.
You can ask for honey or sugar on the side. You can make a better bread choice by choosing whole grain over, say, a croissant. And an egg sandwich can be perfectly tasty without the bacon or the ham.
For WISC News 3, this is Leah Lynchide.
Now, research shows that people who eat breakfast have lower rates of obesity, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes than people who skip the most important meal of the day. So it's a good idea to make healthy choices first thing in the morning.
You have breakfast every day?
No, I'm not guilty as charged. Do you?
Oh, yeah. I have yogurt and oatmeal and a hard-boiled egg.
The same thing every day?
Of course.
Well,
different flavored yogurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not every day, but I try to. Yeah.
And coffee.
And I never miss the coffee.
Never miss the coffee. While we're on the topic of breakfast, the place to go in Mount Horeb is Schubert's.
It's been that way for 107 years. We'll find out what makes Schubert's so special in this month's Tastemaker. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Good evening. We are seeing our normal traffic delays for this time. Oddly enough, things are looking a little bit better on the Beltline at Rimrock. This was at a complete stop just moments ago. So it's moving, but still moving slowly. Of course, the common trouble spots on the Beltline are present. In fact, in some places, things are only moving about 10 to 15 miles per hour, 13 miles per hour as you come over towards Verona Road. Closer towards downtown, things are moving around 21 miles per hour. Now at Broadway, we do have an eastbound lane blocked on the Beltline. That's causing some additional brake lights to show up, so do be prepared for that one. No major issues in terms of from John Nolan to the interstate or John Nolan to Verona, but if you're coming from University to I-3990, that's going to take you about half an hour, so pack your patience there as you're headed towards the interstate. Lots of folks are going to be getting ready to hit the road going for those 4th of July vacations. From Verona Road to John Nolan, also slow, taking you about 15 minutes, and then 9 minutes from University to Verona. But John Nolan to the interstate does look good. So that's one of the spots that is looking in good shape. But otherwise, do be prepared for those travel delays this afternoon.
All right, Chris, thank you. For the
pleasure.
past 25 years, every 4th of July, Dale Chessman takes a picture of his grandmother being all patriotic in her red, white, and blue shirt. He finally posted it on Twitter. And thanks to the Twitter sphere, it was pointed out that Grandma's shirt is the Panama flag.
Oops.
Not the U.S. flag. It turned into the hashtag over 25 years of treason.
Oh,
I'm not sure it's
no.
treason, but
She still looks cute.
they were watching the World Cup, too, and they go, oh, that's Panama's, that's Grandma's shirt.
Oh, good for her, though.
It's a Mount Horeb staple that feels like a blast from the past.
Schubert's restaurant has been serving up meals made from scratch for 107 years. Madison Magazine's Andrea Bailing checked it out for this month's Tastemaker segment.
We are here at Schubert's with Jerry Schubert himself and Antonio, who runs the business now. Thank you guys for having us here today.
You're welcome.
Can you first tell me what we have on the table here?
We have like Norwegian meatballs, and
Have these been on the menu for a long time?
yes, for a long time.
Yeah. And is this a breakfast?
And that one is a breakfast, and that one is the veggie hash, butternut squash, kale, and potato.
And another breakfast offering?
The other breakfast, I think that we sell a lot.
Haystack.
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 Haystack, yeah.
And I feel like
And-
this is a really recognizable dish
Yeah.
of yours.
Yeah, rosettes. I mean,
Rosettes.
yeah,
And
rosettes.
what exactly is a rosette?
Traditionally, it was a Christmas item
Really?
due to the fact what they appear, how they appear, kind of like decorations maybe.
Yeah, gorgeous.
And then I expanded it to year-round. We have this old iron. How many across?
6 and 1. Yeah, 6.
You can drop it in the oil and roll it out, and then just drop them on the bakery table. And people sometimes want powdered sugar on them. Yeah.
There's a lot of history within these walls.
It was owned at one time by the Olson family, and then the Fredrickson family, then the Goebbels family.
And it was intentional to kind of keep all of the classic touches in here, right?
Well, we had a fire, and people told me, well, you got to remodel now, Jerry. And I said, no, I like my wrinkled walls. And many people like them, and no, we're going to keep it. We're going to clean it up and keep it the same. I'm 37 years here. Okay. And people told me that you got to change things, and I don't want to change things. Not only because of the cost, but old is now new.
And you have a saying too, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
In a time when things keep changing every day, it sure is nice to have one place that stays the same.
I stole that from someplace though.
Did you? It works for this place.
Baumgartner's in Monroe.
Oh, the cheese shop,
Yeah.
right? Very cool.
You've been there?
I have. Yeah.
That's something, isn't it?
It is. And you were also showing me that you have an oven that's probably over 80 years old. Is that right?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it's really old.
We were talking about that before you came, and he said, "Well, how old is it?" I don't know how old it is. It was here when I came in 1980. It's old.
Well, here's to another 107 years of
Oh, yeah,
Schubert's
okay.
in Mount Horeb.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for having
All
us
right.
here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It is nice that they keep it the old-fashioned
Oh,
way.
yeah, that place is so classic, and I probably could have sat there with Jerry and Antonio for another hour. They were just a joy. And that place, it's just like you're walking right into the past. All the classic touches. I love that when he said that, no, I'm going to keep my wrinkled walls. And it's just a family place. We actually posted a small video on Facebook, and it just went, crazy. People were sharing it, hundreds of people, coming. We love this place. We went there when it was Go Wolves.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and they've got these rosettes.
Oh, they're so good. And to find a place that makes them from scratch is very hard to find.
Yeah, they're one of the only places in the area, and they're just beautiful too. They're like light, crispy little Norwegian pastries, and they have a lot of Norwegian and Scandinavian kind of dishes on the menu too.
The whole town.
Yes. Yep. So very cute place.
Been there a couple times. Very good.
Yeah.
Check downtown, right downtown Mount Horeb.
Yep.
Andrew, thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Good to see you.
And you can read all about Schubert's in this month's edition of Madison Magazine. We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Well, be careful going out tomorrow.
That's right. It is going to be hot. It's hot today. It gets even warmer into tomorrow. So here's a live look at the lake downtown. You can splash around in the water, have a good time. I do want to remind you, tomorrow is an alert day for the heat and the humidity. It could feel like 100 degrees, if not greater. Heat advisories are in effect, especially to our west. We don't have one for us here in Madison, but don't be surprised if that gets expanded further to the east in coming hours.
All right, more heat and humidity.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Pleasure.
Have a happy 4th. Thursday, we're not on tomorrow for Live at 4, but Thursday on Live at 4, we'll find out what's happening in the 608 this weekend.
And the mosquito population, I'm sure you know this, everybody's talking about it. It is booming this year. Our guest will tell us the best way to keep mosquitoes at bay. That's coming up Thursday on Live at 4.